What is up, everyone? It's Ryan Gallagher here today with R&R Talking Football. On this episode, we're going to quickly just give a synopsis of the games from last weekend, wildcard weekend, and then we'll go pretty in-depth with the previews for this upcoming week, the divisional round, always an exciting one. So go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just pick up where we left off last week. I know you went 6 for 6, I believe.
I did.
I went 5 for 6. I put too much faith, I guess, in the Patriots. But
Yeah.
I would say kind of overall disappointing weekend. Obviously, football is great to have on. It's a lot of fun. But when it comes to playoffs, I just wanted a couple closer matchups. I don't think it's too hard to ask for one-score games or two-score games. But apparently, I think we had a 3 out of 6 blowouts last week and 4 out of 6 if depending on what you count as a blowout. But I will say this weekend's matchups are looking a lot better. A lot of 50-50 matchups, and it's exciting to see who's going to make the Final Four. So,
absolutely, I do believe that aside from the Cowboys, like I feel like these are definitely the 8 best teams that are left. Like the Cowboys are very close,
yep.
And other than that, I feel like the best teams really are remaining. I would say quickly with wildcard weekend, a couple of teams definitely like to not belong by any means. There was a reason that things went down to the wire for a couple, but I mean, really for me and you as well, I mean, I think we were, pretty accurate with just how things would play out with the Bengals and the Bills, of course, there Saturday. The Bills with a very convincing win. You got to feel good about them. The game Sunday, obviously, the Bucks won in a big way. The Chiefs pulled away there after the Steelers kept it close for a little bit. What was the Niner Cowboy game was fantastic. That was definitely by far the best game of the weekend. Would you agree?
Yeah. Well, the Bengals and Raiders.
Yeah, the Bengals game was good too. You're right.
It came down to the very end in that one. So, and then the Rams blew out the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals were not good the last 6 to 8 weeks at all.
No, and neither were the Rams, but surprisingly enough, not they weren't better than the Cardinals, but they were also struggling. But I mean, we can just go by game real quick. I thought the Raiders did a really good job hanging in there, especially when they went down very early and then Henderson got a strip sack. I thought maybe, all right, the Bengals are going to pull away, but the Raiders, basically like they did all season, they never quit, and they had a chance of winning right at the end. So, hats off to the Raiders, and we'll see what they're going to do because it looks like they're going to hire a new GM and coach. They have a exciting, or depending on how you use the word exciting, an eventful offseason coming.
Sure. Would you say this was Derek Carr's best year, in your opinion?
Yeah, maybe not because he was almost an MVP one year.
2016, right?
I think when you consider the talent that he had and just the adversity the Raiders were dealing with all year, I'd probably say that in this instance.
I agree, and I think he's got to be back as the Raiders quarterback next year, unless he wants to be traded. But I think he's a Raider. Like I think he wants to be there, and he is the glue to that team. Honestly, he's a leader, and he's a top 10 to 12 quarterback in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't see why he would. I think he loves it there personally. But I guess if the Raiders are just rebuilding everything, and they could probably end up getting a first round plus back for him. But then again, you're looking at this quarterback class. Not saying you have to get your answer this year, but most teams want to have some kind of answer. So I don't really see the upside of them trading Carr because the likelihood of them getting someone better, even in the future, because I can't remember the Raiders' last good quarterback before Carr.
Yeah, you're right. It's true.
But from the Bengals' perspective, they got an exciting weekend this week against the Titans, the number 1 seed. 2 teams the Jets beat. Just
they did.
So, but Bengals really just the story of their season. Trey Henderson is, I think, playing this weekend. He got a concussion.
Yep.
They need him. He needs to bring the pass rush this week. Because when he came out of the game, it was noticeable.
Right.
So, but they're going to have to stop Henry. I think the way to do that is the Bengals get up early this weekend and kind of let Tennessee have to throw their way back into the game. But it's going to be tough. They're going to Tennessee, and Tennessee's defense is much improved, which is something not really a lot of people are talking about this year. I think it's their best defensive season under
Vrabel.
So that's exciting. And then, of course, everyone knows Henry's returning this weekend. So,
yep.
I'm going to pick the Titans. I almost went with the Bengals because, I like the story. I like how young they are and how fun they are, honestly. But
right.
The Titans have kind of like the Raiders. They're a surprise number 1 seed with all the injuries they dealt with, and it just feels like they're finding ways to win. And I feel like them having to play all their depth this year actually helped them in the long run. And with Henry back now, it feels like their team's almost at full strength, depending on how Henry looks. And they have the experience. More importantly, Titans. The last couple of years they've been in the playoffs, and so I'm going to take them here at home.
I agree. I am taking the Titans now. I think the Bengals had an incredible season. Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. First playoff win in 31 years. Very exciting. I think the future is definitely very bright. And I think this is going to be a close game. I expect them to play well. I just think ultimately the week of rest helps the Titans here. You alluded to it, their defense, especially their front with Danico Autry and Bud Dupree added into the mix. Having Harold Landry, Jeffrey Simmons really taking their games to a new level this year. And really finally having Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones. I think it's going to be tough for them to handle in this game. But like you said, the blueprint for the Bengals is getting ahead and forcing them to throw the ball.
Yep. And even then, it's no guarantee they can stop A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, depending on if Julio Jones shows up. But this is why they got Julio. This is the moment now for it to come big for them. So
absolutely, they need him.
But like you said,
I'll take the Titans by about a field goal to a touchdown.
Yep. All right. I think.
What were you going to say about?
No, that was basically it. Like same thing.
Gotcha.
I think it's gonna be a close game, and I could see this being similar to a little bit like the Bengals and Raiders last week. Probably a little bit more high scoring, but in terms of the intensity toward the end, it could easily come down to the final kick or something like that.
I agree.
But let's move on to the next game of the weekend. The 49ers. We'll give a little bit of recap against Dallas, against the Packers. I think this is maybe the most anticipated matchup of the weekend outside of maybe KC and Bills. Because there's a history here with just Green Bay and San Fran in general the last couple of years.
Especially since LaFleur got to the Packers,
Yeah. And the Packers have won the last 2 times, but I don't really know if you count the one last year because the whole Niners was injured. But this year was a lot of fun. It came down to literally a last-second kick. Early on in the season, I feel like both teams have gotten so much better, and obviously since then. So it's going to be a great matchup. But before we head into that, the Niners went up on Dallas pretty early on in the game, and they kind of let them hang in there. Something I wouldn't advise to be doing it with Aaron Rodgers. But the Niners are a good team. I truly believe that they are a top 3 or 4 roster in the NFL. I felt this all along. And while Garoppolo has his moments, and he somehow, and I'll give him credit where it's due. Like, he is clutch when it matters, but I feel like he's the reason why he has to be clutch. Like, I feel like the Niners should be putting away. They should be putting away teams. Like, they have a great offensive line. The run game works well. We see Deebo Samuel. Even Ayuk has been going off.
Absolutely.
The last 2 months.
Jawan Jennings on third down, I feel like he's a chain mover in the slot.
Just the way their defensive front is, they even cause Dallas offensive line problems all day, really, from all over the place. Bosa, I believe, is playing. Who's a full participant today.
And I think Fred Warner too. So
yeah, Fred Warner might. I don't know, because like he might play, but I don't know how effective it's going to be because if it's a high ankle sprain. So that's obviously something to monitor because he is maybe the best linebacker in football. So let's see like how effective he is. But I went back and forth with this one. I really am, because I think the Niners match up really, really well with the Packers.
Absolutely.
But for me, it's just Garoppolo. So I'm going to take the Packers at home. I might end up being wrong, but I'll just bet on Aaron Rodgers just having enough to win this. And I feel like they're their bench here with everything. I feel like they'll want their revenge from a couple of years ago where they got steamrolled in the championship game. So
that's a good point. I mean, we've both spoken about it for weeks now. Like, the 49ers probably are the second best team in the NFC after the Packers. And I think this is probably the worst matchup for the Packers out of the teams left.
Imagine number 1 seat, and then you have to play the Niners the next week.
I mean, the Niners are so good. They're as hot as any team in the league. They run the football really well, which they got to commit to in this game. I think their defensive front can get after it. I mean, the Packers' offensive line is steady, but I still expect, a good battle there in the trenches. I would say, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. I mean, they'll all, I think, do their thing, especially against the 49ers secondary. I have the Packers by a field goal. I think they'll win. But, I mean, the 49ers are, like, the perfect matchup, I think, to win this game. Like you said, it just comes down to Garoppolo, like, not turning the ball over, really. Yeah. And they have to get George Kittle more involved, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's interesting because the Packers have a lot of people that are coming back. This
Right.
supposedly, not supposedly, a lot of them are coming back for this game. There's no MVS this week; he's doubtful.
I saw that.
Bakhtiari's back, obviously. I believe Alexander's back, or he's questionable.
I think so.
Also, Whitney Merciless,
Yep.
Zadarius
Randall
Smith.
Cobb.
But I think it is fair to question how effective these guys are. Most of these
Agreed.
guys haven't.
I think you even said it last week. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, because like you're going against a physical Niners team. I don't know how much or how
Effective.
yeah effective and snap count basically. So
Right.
Packers are doing and Randall Cobb's also back this week. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make, but who knows? Aaron Rodgers loves Cobb, and he could be literally the game winner. That
Yeah,
wouldn't
no
surprise me.
kidding.
But
Should be a great game.
we'll see how it plays out. This really should be an NFC Championship kind of matchup, but
Agree.
luckily for us fans, not if you're Niners or Packers, not if you're Niners Packers fans. For anyone neutral, this is a fun matchup. So
Perfectly put.
all right, let's move on. Mr. Tom Brady is going up against. Well, it's in Tampa, so the Rams are going to Tampa.
Yep.
I don't think much of a surprise. I think everyone picked Tampa last week to win.
Yep.
The Eagles just had a good year, but
They did.
they just weren't really a playoff team. They just kind of had. They're not anyone. No one expected them to make the playoffs or even close
Oh, for
this
sure.
year. So definitely overachieved. They have 3 first-round picks to look forward to and keep building that roster. So they have I think a bright future going forward. So, but
I'm with you there on that.
they kind of showed why they really weren't a
Right.
definitely
Necessarily a playoff team.
yeah. But hey, going against Tampa is no easy task. But you
Never.
feel like with the injuries Tampa had last week, it should have been a much better matchup. I'll just
Right.
put it like that. But anyway, let's head into this one because the Rams kind of also just steamrolled the Cardinals. And some of that talent that they acquired, the Rams specifically, starting to really come together now with Odell Beckham and Von Miller. So these additions are paying off. And like I said with Julio before, this is what you want them for. This is
These
take
big games.
that next level. Yeah, get to the Super Bowl hopefully. So we'll see. The Bucks, on the other hand, Wirfs is questionable. I don't think
Yeah,
he's going to
that's a
play.
big one.
I don't think he's going to play. He's on a high ankle sprain. He came in last week, tried to play. It just didn't look good at all, and actually kind of had to pull himself out again. Jensen, I think, will play. He's just like really tough. But then again, you don't know how effective he will be. So definitely a big,
Concern.
big concern and a big let off for the Rams. So this favors them now. Obviously, Aaron Donald's going to be double team and triple team, but this is where Von Miller comes into play and Leonard Floyd. So I think the Rams are actually going to win some of those matchups now that they might not have. Because Tristan Wirfs is really, really good. With that being said, I'm never counting out Brady because it's Tom Brady, but I think he is up against it. I know it's at home. I'm pretty sure Fournette's back, so that should help the run game a little bit. But at the same time, Mike Evans probably going against Ramsey. Unfortunately, Chris Godwin's not here, so this might be the week where you miss having like Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin out there. I think you get away with it against Philly, but when you're playing a team like the Rams, it's going to be difficult to mask that. And then honestly, the last time the Rams have played the Bucks this season and last year, they basically blew them out both times. So I don't think it's gonna happen this time because it's in Tampa, but I do think the Rams win by a touchdown.
Okay, I actually had the Bucks winning this game by like a field goal.
Okay.
I think with the Rams, it's just tough on a short week when you're traveling across the country. You're losing 3 hours. It's an early start time. And to be honest, I just don't know when it comes down to it if I trust Matthew Stafford as much as Tom Brady in the spot. Like I think the Bucks run defense will do what they can to take away Sony Michel, and Cam Akers look great Monday night. I do think Vita Vea and just that front in general will put the game in Matthew Stafford's hands, and I could see that pass rush getting home. I think from a coverage standpoint, they can match up decent. With Cooper Kupp, Odell, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee. But like you said, I mean, on the other hand, I mean, the Rams defense should have its way in this game as well. Obviously, going up against Tom Brady is no easy task, but Jalen Ramsey, Darius Williams, Troy Hill on the back end should hold up well. They should be able to drop in coverage because, like we were saying, with Jensen and Wirfs injuries, they should be able to get home with their front. It's been really good. Obviously, like you said, Bond lately has picked it up. Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, Greg Gaines, Ashawn Robinson. It's a great group that they have. I think it should be a physical game that goes back and forth, and ultimately, I think the Bucks end up taking it.
Well, yeah, if it's coming down to a final drive, I'm with you there with Brady. But
Brady.
I don't think this game should come down to the final drive. Is my point. But then again, it's football. It's Tom Brady and it's Tampa, so I'm not going to doubt it. Stafford really doesn't have much playoff experience, but with that being said, I mean Cooper Kupp's averaged I think 150 yards the last 2 times they played Todd Bowles' defense. So
Yep.
we'll see if. And honestly, without Robert Woods, they kind of should be forcing the ball elsewhere. As good as Beckham has been, it's been mostly touchdowns. Obviously, got a little bit more involved this past week in terms of yards, but and we'll see. I mean, Van Jefferson could also win deep, but this is going to be a fun matchup, and either team that wins not really going to surprise me.
I'm with you on that. Absolutely, it's a great divisional round matchup.
I'm glad we disagreed at least on one. So we got to do that every week. So I was wrong last week. I picked the Pats, so hopefully you're wrong.
We'll see this week.
All right. So the final game of the weekend is the Bills and Chiefs. I think it's one
team wins last week.
Yeah, both these two teams who made the championship game last year. So I think a lot of people are excited for this matchup. Honestly, most of their matchups have been pretty fun.
Yep.
Last year, the Chiefs obviously kind of blew them out of the championship game, but the Bills kind of got their revenge earlier on this season. But this is where it really matters now. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I went back and forth with this because the Chiefs have the experience and stuff, but the Bills have been in the playoffs the last couple of years. I'm gonna go Buffalo. So they're so up and down. Like when they're on, they're on. Like Josh Allen looks like the best quarterback in the league. When the last couple of times they played the Patriots outside of that like hurricane kind of game, like the last 3 out of 4 times they played the Patriots, they basically blown them out. Like they kind of had their number. And this is a different matchup, but the Bills have seemed like a team that's destined. Like I don't really take the Chiefs win against Pittsburgh with anything I felt differently because I didn't think Pittsburgh deserved to be there. Yeah, especially when Ben was, he had 19 yards like midway through the third quarter. So like that's not going to beat any team in the playoffs. So I don't know. It's interesting because the Chiefs have the experience. Like Mahomes, we keep saying this, but if Mahomes actually, turns it. Not that he hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been the MVP level like the last couple of years.
Right.
And there's other stuff going on because the Chiefs defense is also kind of up and down this year for the most part.
Very.
And this game is in KC. So like they definitely have that for them. But I think the Bills fans will travel well, and I just feel like the Bills are gonna just edge by, just win.
I agree with you. I think the Bills just take it by about a field goal or so. Just the way Josh Allen played last week was ridiculous. Devin Singletary, I think we got to give it up to him and what he's providing for them on the ground. I think for them to win this game, he's going to have to continue to be effective. And the Bills' defense is really good. Losing Tre'Davious White is tough, especially in a game like this against Tyreek Hill. But the rest of that defense, they have so many years of experience together with Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier. And they just play so well together. The defensive line has a ton of depth. They're talented in the back as well. I think, they can get after Mahomes. It'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs can do on the ground what they did last week with McKinnon, which was impressive against the Steelers front. But I'm with you. Ultimately, I think the Bills right now are just I think they're the better team.
Yeah, especially with how this season has gone. I think most people will agree with that. I am interested to see if the Bills are going to use McKenzie more than Beasley just going forward. McKenzie's been maybe just against Patriots, but he looks kind of incredible. Where I would be actually, especially when you got like Diggs and stuff on the outside, I think I'd be using McKenzie more in the open field, especially. But yeah, it's gonna be. I would like to see the Chiefs not make it for once the last couple of years. So
I hear you on that for sure. See someone different.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it should be a fun weekend. I feel like the divisional is usually, I think, the best, honestly, out of them all. I think these are the best teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if any of these games went either way.
Yeah, probably the best. Usually the Super Bowl is pretty good, but in terms of matchups, I think divisional round is like the best weekend of the best teams who are left usually. So
should be good. Any other thoughts or takeaways?
No, I'm just excited to go see it, see who we got in the championship games for both.
Sure, it should be fun. So the next episode, we'll have the first one next week. We'll do a Jets defensive year in review, and we'll go over the Senior Bowl rosters. We'll probably have that like Monday or so. with the defensive backs being released today, and then we'll keep it up with this general NFL content for you all as well. So
Yeah.
thanks for watching and listening. And you got anything else, Ryan?
Thank you guys. Yeah, what he said. We will also have a mock draft
That too.
dropping probably sometime next week as well. So
Should be fun.